I never thought I'd live to see the day when my only son would look me in the eyes and call me a burden. I raised him with everything I had, and when his father passed away, I devoted my whole life to making sure he had the best chance at success. His name is Daniel, and we lived most of our lives in Chicago, Illinois, in a small, warm apartment where laughter echoed more than silence ever did. But sometimes life twists in ways you can never predict. When Daniel was young, I would work 2 jobs just to make sure he had fresh clothes, warm food, and the newest books for school. I remember walking through the cold Chicago winters, my hands numb, carrying groceries home on foot because I didn't have a car. He was always grateful back then. He'd hug me and say, "Mom, one day I'll take care of you the way you take care of me." But time changes people. Daniel grew up, graduated, and became a successful financial analyst in New York City. He moved away, promising me that once he got settled, he'd bring me along. For years, I lived with that hope. But he only called once in a while, usually around holidays, and sent me the occasional check with a short note. "Hope this helps, Mom." When I turned 72, my health started to decline. Arthritis made it difficult for me to walk up the stairs in our old apartment. Sometimes I would forget where I placed things. And Daniel noticed when he came to visit after almost 2 years, that visit changed everything. The decision. Daniel walked into my apartment with his usual sharp suit and polished shoes. He looked around the place as if it were foreign to him, wrinkling his nose at the peeling wallpaper and the creaky floorboards. "Mom," he said, adjusting his tie, "you can't live here anymore. It's unsafe, and honestly, you're not able to manage things the way you used to." I smiled faintly. "It's fine, Daniel. This place has been my home for 40 years. I know every crack and corner," he shook his head. "No, Mom, I've made arrangements for you. There's a nursing home in New Jersey. It's clean, it's modern, and they'll take good care of you." My heart dropped. "A nursing home? Daniel, I don't need strangers to look after me. I need my son," he sighed heavily, rubbing his forehead. "Mom, I have a career. I can't just drop everything to be your caretaker. You'll be a lot safer there. And to be honest, it's become a burden trying to manage this from afar." That word, burden, it pierced deeper than any knife could. I raised him through storms, through hunger, through loneliness. And now I was just a weight dragging him down. I didn't argue. I simply nodded. "If that's what you think is best, Daniel." But in my heart, a quiet storm began to brew. Life at the nursing home. The nursing home was called Golden Meadows Retirement Center, a polished facility with pastel walls, large glass windows, and cheerful nurses who greeted everyone with rehearsed smiles. At first, I tried to adapt. They gave me a small room overlooking a patch of trees. Meals came at exact hours, and activities were scheduled like clockwork. Bingo nights, movie afternoons, knitting circles. The other residents were kind, but I could see the sadness in their eyes. Many of them were left here by children who rarely visited. Some hadn't had visitors in years. One woman, Margaret, whispered to me one evening, "Our children think we're old luggage, stored away until it's time to throw us out." That thought haunted me. I waited for Daniel to visit. Weeks passed, then months. Finally, after half a year, he showed up. He stayed only 30 minutes, brought me flowers from a shop near his office, and checked his phone constantly. When he left, he kissed my cheek quickly and said, "They're taking good care of you here, Mom. I'll be back soon." Soon never came. The burden I gave him. Loneliness sharpens the mind in ways you don't expect. I started writing letters. Not angry letters, but letters that detailed everything I sacrificed for him. I wrote about the nights I skipped meals so he could eat. About the winters I froze my hands off walking for groceries. About the dreams I gave up so he could chase his. But instead of sending the letters, I saved them. I had a plan. The director of the nursing home, Mr. Howard, once mentioned to me that the home's funding partly came from donations and family contributions. Many children avoided paying, dumping their parents and letting the system handle the costs. Daniel, despite his wealth, had signed me in under the most basic package, barely covering my care. So I asked Mr. Howard one day, "Can I transfer all my assets to this home?" He looked surprised. "Mrs. Collins, are you sure? Most residents leave their estates to family?" I smiled bitterly. "Family, yes. But not everyone earns that right. I had a modest inheritance left from my parents, an old property in Springfield, and a savings account I had built quietly over the years. Together, it was worth enough to significantly improve the lives of the residents here. With careful legal help, I transferred it all to the nursing home, setting conditions that the funds would be used to create a community garden, a library, and a scholarship fund for nurses who wanted to advance their studies. Daniel didn't know. The confrontation, it wasn't until a year later that he found out. He stormed into the nursing home, his face red with fury. "Mom, what did you do?" he shouted in the lobby, drawing the eyes of staff and residents. I looked up from my knitting. "I did what was right. You gave away everything. The property, the savings, it was supposed to be for me. For your family." I set my knitting needles down slowly. "Daniel, when you called me a burden, you made it clear that family was no longer about love. It was about convenience. You didn't want me. You wanted what I had," his jaw clenched. "That's not true." I met his eyes firmly. "Isn't it? You placed me here so I wouldn't interfere with your life. So I gave you what you thought I was, a real burden. Not me, but the knowledge that your greed cost you everything." For once, he had no words. A new beginning over the next year, the nursing home transformed. The garden bloomed with roses and tulips. The new library filled with books donated by local schools. Nurses who studied under the scholarship returned with new skills, bringing better care for everyone. And for the first time in years, I felt peace. Daniel visited less and less, ashamed perhaps, or maybe still angry. But it no longer mattered. I had found a family here among people who understood, who cared, who knew the weight of abandonment but chose kindness anyway. I wasn't a burden. I was a giver, and that was my legacy. Closing reflection. When people ask me now if I regret giving away what I had, I shake my head. What's the point of leaving wealth to someone who sees you as nothing more than an obligation? True family is built on love, not inheritance. I may have lost my son's affection, but I gained something better: dignity, respect, and the chance to turn pain into hope for others. So, to every parent who fears being abandoned, I say this: your worth isn't measured by how much your children keep you around. Your worth is in the love you've given, the lives you've touched, and the legacy you choose to leave behind. And as I sit in this garden, surrounded by laughter and flowers, I know one thing for certain: I was never the burden.